We're going to start with a quick, fun video because, let's be honest, up until now, it's just me talking and you haven't really done much to prepare you for that job interview. I'm going to show you a little trick so that as you go through this entire section, you can actually customize and adapt what we're about to build. And what we're going to build right now is your portfolio, or at least a very simple version of a portfolio. As you'll discover later in this section, just having a simple presence online makes you stand out. And we're going to talk about portfolio more in detail, but for anybody that doesn't have a website or some presence online, I'm going to show you how to quickly do it. And you don't have to be a web developer to do it. Anybody can do it. I'm going to show you in this video. The goal is to make something quick and simple that looks good, because what matters is what's inside the portfolio, which we'll talk about later in the section. Now, we're going to be talking about all of these in this section. This one quick trick I'm going to show you can really change the game. Because if you have a really good portfolio and the content inside the portfolio showcasing your projects is really good, that shows employers that you know what's important to them, that you can do the job, and that you can do it well. And one of the best ways to break into a new industry is to show employers that you do more than the minimum to develop your skills, expand your knowledge, and get involved in the community. A portfolio helps you stand out and helps paint a better picture of the type of worker you are. I'm a true believer that you should do something simple and do it well. And if you look at some of the best developers, best designers, best cybersecurity experts, a lot of them have a very simple website with their work and articles. The idea of a portfolio is that perception versus reality. Remember? This is where you really push that perception, the perception of you as an excellent candidate. The goal is to get into the interview, into the door. Once you're at the interview, you'll be a star. Why? Well, because you'll go through the interview section of this course and you'll know what to do. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. How can you make a quick portfolio right now to set up and showcase as we prepare for the job hunt? Let me show you. We're going to use something called GitHub. And again, GitHub, if you're a programmer, you're already very familiar with it. But this is pretty much for everybody. And I'm going to show you how you can use GitHub to create a website online for free, super fast. We're also going to use an AI assistant like Claude. This can be anything. You can use any of the AI tools out there. I'm just going to show you an example here, just so you know how easy it can be. So let me ask Claude, can you give me a cool HTML? And HTML is just a way for us to create a website portfolio template. Again, if you do the web developer course, you know how to use HTML, but it's not important. What's important here is for us to create a portfolio website quickly that is modern and can list my future portfolio projects. All right, let's see what this AI tool comes up with. Now, the goal of this section is to show you how quickly you can get a website online. You can always tweak it, you can always improve it, but the process here is to show you how quickly you can have something online, and what matters is that as long as it looks sleek and good, what matters is that you have a presence online, and also that what's inside your portfolio are good projects that demonstrate your skills. Again, we'll talk about this later in the section. There you go. How cool is that? So I have a nice, simple portfolio website. It's okay. It doesn't look that great, but I mean, for not coding it, you can have the code over here. So this is what I'm talking about with HTML, but it looks okay. Let me just ask it one more time that, hey, looks great, but can you make it look more modern? Looks a little outdated. Maybe some animations. So again, I'm just showing you how you might want to just quickly adapt and change your profile based on what you want, even if you don't know how to code. Obviously, if you know how to code, you can create your own portfolio, which is easy. But the idea of this video is to get something online, no matter what your profession is. And let's be honest, you've already done better than most people that don't have an online portfolio just by doing this small step. Again, we don't want to swim with others. We want to stand out. All right. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's a bit of animation. You got some nice navigation, my project. Wow, that looks actually kind of nice. How cool is that? All right, but that's cool. That's just here. I have the code, but it's not really online, is it? Well, let me show you how easy it is to do that. I'm actually going to copy this entire code. Let me download the file. Gonna save that, and I'm actually just gonna copy this entire code because I can just copy and paste. There we go. And I'm gonna create a GitHub profile. If you don't have a GitHub profile, it's free. Go sign up and create one. And all you're gonna do is just go to repositories once you have your project or once you have your profile, and you're just gonna click on new. So this is a new repository. Now, I'm going to link to this file, which shows you how to create a GitHub Pages. This is essentially a website that you can create for free online on GitHub. So all you need to do is to use your username.github.io. So in my case, my username is anagoe at github.io. So again, just to check, just like I did here, not at dot. So I've already created this before. So if you already have this, it might not allow you to do it, but I'll just change it up. I'm going to say anagoe2 at github.io. I'm going to make it public. Let's add a README. This is a document that you can add with your website if you want. And I'm just going to create the repository. If I go through the document here, it'll give you some of the steps, but I'm going to just show you quickly how I would go about doing it. I'm going to just add a new file. So I'm going to create a new file. And the file that I'm going to create is this HTML file with the code that I got from Claude. So I'm going to name my file index.html. So that's actually the HTML file that Claude has created for me. I'm going to commit changes. Yes, commit. Now I have my index.html. I'm going to go to settings now. Go to the pages tab. And I'm going to say deploy from branch. Okay, that's fine. And then I'm going to say branch main. So that's where my code is. I'm going to save. Now, if you want a custom domain, let's say you have a domain name that you register, like andrenagoe.com, and you own a domain and you want to use a custom domain, you can read about how to do that here. Again, we don't need to worry about that for now. For now, we're just putting a quick portfolio online. So here you have to wait a couple of minutes until everything is done. You can see over here that your GitHub page site is currently being built from the main branch. So you might have to wait a couple of minutes. And once I refresh and I waited a couple of minutes, I see that your site is live at this domain. So the reason the URL looks like this is because I have already used this repository name. So it just tagged on the new one over here. If you've never done this before, your URL will just be your username.github.io. So if I visit site, are you kidding me? How cool is that? That was super quick. I didn't really do any coding, and I have my own personal website that looks pretty sleek. That's not bad in what, 5 minutes? And this URL you can share with your employers. You can create a custom URL like I just talked to you in the GitHub Pages thing where it's actually linked to your name. If you follow the instructions, you'll actually have your username.github.io as your portfolio, which is pretty cool. So there you have it. Nice, simple portfolio. This is a fun little way to start this section so that you get your hands dirty, you start building something. And throughout the course, as we learn about resumes, about portfolio projects, and other things, you can start to add this into your resume so that your online presence becomes solid. So that when people look at your resume, look at your application, they immediately see that, hey, this person is special. Now, we're going to come back to this idea of GitHub and how you can use it, because if you remember, it's one of the 5 things we're going to work on later in this section. But for now, I want to show you that the portfolio that you just created, you can share with our Discord community. So our ZTM Discord, we have a section called Job Hunting, where people post their resumes, their portfolios, and get feedback on them. We also have a job hunting section where sometimes people post their jobs or companies that are looking for jobs. We have interview questions. But I would recommend, once you have built your little toy portfolio, even if it's not complete, share it over here with the community to see everybody's portfolio. The cool thing about this AI tool is that everybody's portfolio is going to look different. So you might get inspired. You might share some ideas with others. So go ahead and do that. All right, time for a break. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.